Hello there, Seraphim17 once again. This is my Dishonored 2 very hard difficulty ghost walkthrough. This is the first mission of the game. It is a long day in Dunwall. So this walkthrough is going to help you attain all of the challenge-based achievement or trophies in a playthrough, except for the one for not using supernatural powers. If you can remember, in the first Dishonored game, there was mostly flesh and steel, which was essentially beat the entire game using only blink and nothing else. Well, in this game they've decided to remove blink from that option, and there is a particular choice coming up when you first meet the supernatural geezer. He will ask you to either accept his gift or to refuse the powers. If you refuse the powers, you can play the entire game without blink, without any of the special fun stuff, and there is an achievement and a trophy for doing that. But the one thing that achievement and trophy does not speculate is that you have to be stealthy when you do it. So if you're like me, the idea of playing Dishonored without blink sounds like pulling teeth, and it's not something you really want to do. You can do it on a high chaos run where you just kill everything and have a lot of fun that way. But for all intents and purposes, this is going to be all the other challenges except for that particular one. So we will never be getting spotted. We will never kill or knock anybody out who is not a target that needs to be knocked out. We will never upgrade our character. We will never use any of the runes, any of the perks, any of the special abilities that augment Corvo, who is the character that I'm playing as. We will not use any items. We will not be using any of the specific items, any of the specific weapons. For all intents and purposes, this is going to be Corvo using blink and absolutely nothing else. It's going to be as pure as I can make it, so that if you're ever in a situation that is too tricky for yourselves, I can show you a path that doesn't use anything, and then you can use whatever you're using and compound it with the path that I'm showing you. And thus begins the first conundrum of Dishonored 2, which is to get Ramsey, who is now about to move into the safe room where we're going to be neutralizing him. And the first thing you need to know about this game, guys, is you have to save. This game is a mess in a lot of ways, and this video is not going to give me enough time to truly get into why this is true. All I'm going to tell you is the AI and the patterns and the pathing in this game can at moments be completely different to how you think it should work. I know this because at this very beginning, I took Ramsey out the moment he walked towards the door in that other room, and nobody saw me and everything was fine. And I tried it on this recording, and the guard in that room saw me instantly. I tried it 3 more times, he saw me every time. So the game just was working differently. And it had nothing to do, it seemed, with how quickly you get to that room, because once you get in that room, it triggers that dialogue. It doesn't trigger unless you go there. But anyhow, save your game as you're coming out of that room, just to make sure you can mitigate any mistakes, and then take out Ramsey as we enter into the safe room now. You'll get an achievement for doing that. I'm going to turn the notifications off, guys. I didn't realise I had them on this account, because this is a separate account that I'm recording on. And then all you have to do is shut the door to lock Ramsey in this room, and then we can leave via the back entrance into Dunwall. So the game is Dishonored, guys. For all intents and purposes, this is Dishonored, which is a great thing. It moves like Dishonored, it feels like Dishonored, and if you've played the original game and you had a good grasp of what is expected of you and how to play the game, all of that will directly translate into this one. Everything that you remember is kind of here, and it's just augmented in certain ways. And this particular level is going to be one of the more trickier openings, because we don't have any supernatural powers. Because of the plot thread, we lost them just then. And you're going to be moving through the town using just a standard stealth techniques and mechanics. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move across the rooftops to the left. I'm going to get into the 2-story building, and then I'm going to proceed to make my way towards the ship to get out of the level that way. You can go the opposite way, but it's a bit of a longer path on the ground, and the ground is going to be a combination of sneaking, climbing, and getting past just the standard guards. Which leads me to the wonderful quandary that is Dishonored 2's guards and its AI systems. So the guards have a set pattern and a set path, and you're going to see plenty of evidence that dictates this. You're also going to see moments where they just don't move. And I don't know why. the AI occasionally just does this thing where they will stand scratching themselves and they'll never do their route. Whereas if you reload, they'll do a different route. And there's multiple instances of the AI doing questionable things for reasons I don't know. And if you get yourself in one of those situations, my recommendation is to reload. And how I recommend you play this game is just like the tooltip says when it says save often. Always do a hard save at the beginning of a level just in case you have to restart for whatever reason. You might not think you'll need to, but the first time you do, you'll realise the game doesn't have a restart mission feature, which is really frustrating. And you'll have to go all the way back through enemy territory, which can be a pain in the dick, so don't do that. And then additionally after that, you want to make hard saves on opportunity and choice moments, because from that point onwards, once you hard save, you can always come back to it, and then you can proceed to do the quick save to see if it's a path worth pursuing. And you can save as much as you want to, or as few times as you want to, it's entirely up to you. But the thing you need to be aware of is, when you reload this game, it is not always one-to-one where you saved. And there are some really strange instances of this. For instance, right now, if I save behind this guy as I throw the glass to distract him, when I reload, he should go to the left on his pattern, or maybe he comes back towards me. But I can guarantee you now, if I were to reload 5 times, he would do 5 different things. And I don't know why the game does it, because there are times when the patterns are very rigid, are very strict, and they move in the way that they should do, like you expect from a stealth game, and then there are instances where they just do different things, and I can't tell you why. And without that measure of control, it makes certain strategies very difficult, which is why in this first video, I feel obligated to tell you that the paths that I'm going to show you will work, but the timing of these paths might not. Because in your game, he might do something different, and I can't tell you why. The only time they should do different things is if they hear something and they get inquisitive, or if you throw a distraction. When you throw a distraction, you're rolling a dice, because the AI improvises, and that's fine. You know, that's how a game should be. If you do something that deviates from the structure, it should be different, and I applaud that. But in this game, there are moments where it does that anyway, and I can't really explain it. And when you do throw something, it turns into just the biggest random generator I've ever come across. Because it's crazy. And there's only going to be 1 or 2 instances where I rely on the capricious, insane AI, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to show you the best way of doing it that I found. But for the most, you have to avoid it. Also, you don't have to swim this side of the ship, you can go the other side. I was just being quite tentative because I didn't want to get spotted. Another thing I'm going to be trying to do in this playthrough is to take no damage, and for the most I'm completely successful in that endeavour because the enemies never damage me. But there are a few instances in this game where when you land kind of harshly, you take this tiniest bit of chip damage, and it can be difficult to tell that you've taken it, and I think in 1 or 2 areas that happened, even though I was trying my best to avoid it from happening and reloading when I noticed it happened, but I must have not seen one of the instances, so alas, I wasn't completely successful in that, but you shouldn't see me take damage for the most. But there's the statistics at the end, guys. You can double check to make sure you got the stealth never detected, to make sure you didn't get any lethals and all that good stuff. Additionally, if you're curious if you've been spotted in a mission and you're having issues finding out whether or not you can tell, if you pause the game and go to stats, it will give you an accurate, up-to-date measurement of if you've been spotted. It is a wonderful mechanic, and I have to completely commend Arcane Studios for enabling us to understand with full control whether or not we messed up, and that's a beautiful piece of iterative game design. So, awesome game. Awesome, awesome, awesome tool for people to understand what's happening inside of the game world. But thank you for watching, welcome to the walkthrough, and you take care now.